That's not a taxi then, is it? A taxi is not a pre-booked service. We're getting into another
Of course we are. Of course we are pre-booked. Why can't you app's pre-book, isn't it?
App's pre-booked, but then you can use an app.
You're a taxi service on there.
I'm not talking about an app.
Oh, your jumps, not taxis.
It's not my jump, but what I will say, it's not my jump. It's not my app. Yeah.
Taxi! Please like, subscribe, comment and hit the notification bell for any future videos. We're back to do a podcast today about fixed fares, and I'm pretty sure Paul's going to manage to piss someone else new off with his ideas of fixed fares. He does say that Terry's got a counter argument for this, and Dave, I know you're fairly thinking, I'm pretty much neutral. Where should we start? Should we start with you, Paul, telling us why fixed fares is a good idea?
There was a meeting at the UCG, I don't know if you was there, Dave, and they brought up the subject of exploring the option of having fixed fares from Heathrow Airport. That was all it was. They just wanted to see how it went down and compare it to other cities around the world. And I've travelled to quite a lot of cities, and when I land at an airport, I don't know where I'm going, don't know how far the city is, a little bit worried about how much I'm going to get charged. If I know exactly what I'm paying, I feel a bit more comfortable. And I think when you land at an airport, that's how most people feel, unless the business is paying for the fare.
I don't like to agree with you often.
Yeah.
But when I heard the idea, that was the only thing, that is the only selling point, it seems, that when, from the passenger's point of view, I know what I'm going to pay. So from my perspective, I don't care about the driver. I will get paid. I'm going to pay 80 quid to get to wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
I can budget that, and I'm happy with that. So this seems to be, that's it. It's the end of the argument. That's the only argument.
Are you saying then you couldn't put it in Google, AI, London black cab from Heathrow to Dorchester? You wouldn't get a price come up, approximate range.
You would, but it'd be totally wrong. We get that all the time at the airport. Yeah. I've had people come, will you take me to Brighton? Yeah, sure. It says on Google it's 70 quid. And then you have to tell them it's about 350 on the metre. And you never see him run away so quick.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'd run away.
And listen, at the end of the day, it's a business, for me, it's a business argument. I feel like a lot of the problems at the airport and the way the airport system is run is down to pricing and the fact that, passengers are worried about being ripped off in a black cab. I'm not saying that that's what we do, but it's their perception of what we do.
That's the perception of every single airport you land at worldwide.
Correct.
And I can confess that I have never not been ripped off when I've taken the taxi from the airport in every other country I've been to, except if it happens here. My theory on England, on London specifically, is that when it happens here, that the fare is hyped, it's the driver making a mistake rather than the driver being deliberately deceitful. Whereas in every other country, I'm afraid, they are deliberately deceitful. They are going to milk the meter.
How does it work in Turkey?
In Turkey, they're famous for it. They're famous for ripping you off.
But in Istanbul, they have fixed fares when you land. And you pay a little bit extra to use the credit card, but it's fixed fare where you land. Same in New York, quite a lot of other cities around the world. New York, $75. You land at JFK, $75 into Manhattan.
How much would the fare be to JFK from JFK to Manhattan without the set fare? How much roughly is it going to be?
Well, we were looking at the Uber app, and it was $200 odd. So it tells you a story that they're cheaper. But it was a reasonable price. $75 was a reasonable price. It took 45 minutes to get into Manhattan to where we were staying.
With tip? Because they work on 25%, don't they?
I gave a tip. Don't necessarily have to, but their fixed price is $75.
Did it not say in the cab 25% or anything like that? Was there nothing there on the sign? Because I haven't been for at least 10 years, and I can remember. Yeah, I can remember.
I know they will chase you down the road for less than 20%.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember I gave them $100. And I was happy to give that because I knew what I was paying when I landed. I am not advocating for an erosion of our meter. I'm not advocating for any other kind of fixed price whatsoever. I just feel like at the airport, the feeder park is a long waiting time. I think that would help us get other people into the system.
And that New York one, where's that to? And how big an area is it? Because if you was to go to
they zone it out. There's a zone.
Would you have to Mandarin, and then the next one would be the Tower Hotel? It could be like a horrendous zone, couldn't it?
Problem is, Manhattan is very densely populated.
Yeah,
it's about 12 times as populated.
Of course,
as London.
And it's a grid system. It's different. I get that. I know that London's different, and I understand it. It's different, and I'm not saying we should be, giving ridiculously low fixed fares. I'm just saying we need to show what it's going to cost to someone who's landing, who's a little bit, worried about what they might have to pay to get into London. There's other options to get into London, isn't there? You've got your Elizabeth line, you've got your Heathrow Express. There's lots of competition out there.
But in fairness, Paul, how often do you work the airport?
Getting longer and longer and longer. I don't work. This is why Terry's here, because he's going to give us a counter argument. I don't work there every day. I'll put my hands up to that, but I will put on if I've got a fare into the airport. So I understand the system. I know exactly how it all works. And again, I will say I've offered the aggressive defenders of the meter at the airport to come on this podcast, and they refuse.
Well, Terry's here.
All you could get is me. You had to square the bottom of the barrel, didn't you?
Terry knows how the system works. Terry works up the airport. Okay, so
Terry, you tell us why we shouldn't have fixed fares.
I just don't think it's going to help. I think there's so much focus on it, and the meter's taken so long to get to where it's got with the rate 4 thing. That took ages to come up to where it's now probably, it raised a lot of eyebrows when it did go up. But it needed to go up because it didn't go up for so long with inflation. That's why everyone had a heart attack when it suddenly jumped. A fare went from 80 quid to about 96 quid. But it's the best way of being fair for both the customer and the driver. And London's we can't even agree on the local zones or the fares. I think that's where I'm coming from. I mean, look at the fares we've got out there now. Half the drivers won't do them because half of them, they feel they don't get compensated enough for, which is true for some journeys, and other journeys are massively disproportionate to what the meter is the other way. And then you get customers kicking off because they know, it's only 5 minutes down the road, because they don't understand we don't charge on time, we charge on mileage. Yeah. And I think it's just complicated an issue. And all right, we might get more jobs coming out of it, but I think if we do fixed prices, we'll lose as much as we gain in terms of cost. As a total turnover, say we say lose 5% of the meter because we're going to lose X amount because of traffic. Are we going to get 5% more passengers coming through? And it doesn't really help the business as a bigger thing, but if the airport starts moving quicker, more drivers will go there. So the waiting time will be exactly the same.
Yeah, and are you saying fixed fares from the airport into town, but not fixed fares from town out to the airport?
No, I want both.
You want both?
That's the other side of it. So I want hotels to be able to tell tourists it costs, I don't know, £100 to get to Heathrow Airport by a black cab. So then in turn it promotes us going to the airport as well. Because a lot of drivers who work Heathrow, I know, go there empty. And to work there, to sit there for 3 to 4 hours sometimes less, to wait for a job. But they're in that kind of laid back, that's what they do attitude of a job, when I think it could be so much better. I mean, it's been a closed shop now since 2017, 18?
I think a bit later than that, but it was
2018 it's been a closed shop for.
Heathrow.
Yeah, so like people who are watching this, who are doing the knowledge, they cannot work Heathrow. So some of them might live out west, like yourself. You live out west. Mm-hmm. They can't start at Heathrow.
Oh, I'd be fuming if I'd done 5 years, 4 years, whatever on the knowledge. Come out and go, oh yeah, you've got to wait another 5 years just to be able to work your nearest rank.
What is still the excuse? Is it still a badges issue? They're saying
they blame it on Heathrow Limited.
They don't want. I mean, basically, there was 26,000 drivers all working Heathrow if we wanted to or not.
Yes,
there was no problem whatsoever. So now we've got 15,000 drivers, less drivers. Mm-hmm. So the percentage that would want to work Heathrow must be less. Mm-hmm. But now I have a suspicion we have more of a mafiosa thing going on, where the people in the airport
they won't
do not
come
want
and
any
talk
more
on here,
badges going out because they want to exclude people.
Well, those people have been offered on here. They've been offered to sit on here and tell us.
So who benefits from not the badges going out? The only people would be the drivers at the airport.
Correct.
So there's no other beneficiary.
I don't think so.
So why are we blaming the airport?
Because cabs have been, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, cabs have been spotted on Newell Road queuing up, and that's a safety issue with the perimeter road, I assume. Cabs blocking the perimeter road. And, the result of that now is some of the apps are having a virtual rank put up on that, on the airport. So if you work a certain app, you can be at a virtual feeder park up there. That's what the result of it's now has come. And those apps offer fixed prices into London.
Well, that gives my next thing. Because basically nothing stops a syndicate arranging this anyway. We could be a syndicate of 15 cab drivers in London that sell the particular hotel. Us 15 will do a £100 fare to the airport. So nothing stops that presently.
Nothing.
We can organise that.
It encourages it. And also I'm on a WhatsApp group that has fixed prices to and from the airport. And these prices are lower than the meter and they get snapped up in seconds because there's no waiting time. They're not waiting for the job. The job's kind of pre-booked, isn't it? Yeah. Not waiting for the job. But I think if there was fixed prices into London and they zoned it out and the rates were palatable for everyone, didn't necessarily have to be that much cheaper than the meter or anything cheaper than the meter. So just people know what they're paying when they land because they don't know nothing about London, then I think it would move quicker. And we have got less people now. Like you say, 26,000 before, now it's 15,000. The trickle of people coming through the knowledge is low. So giving them a tag would be acceptable. And I think we'd just move quicker. We would just move quicker up there. But that doesn't suit certain people. I was going to
say, someone like me who works evening, I'm only working evenings the last year. I don't want to go particularly to the airport at 10, 11 o'clock because you're going to kill my best part of the evening. It's really good to work till 1 o'clock. Can I turn it down? Under your new system, if you want to bring in fixed fares, can I refuse a fixed fare?
Yeah.
You would allow that to be in there, that you can refuse it. Because, to be honest, I wouldn't want to go out there that time because I'd earn more and I wouldn't have the dead mileage in town.
See, this is your counter-argument, which is a good argument, I think, because, there's a distance thing, isn't there? But what I wouldn't like to see that personally. I wouldn't like for a doorman to come out of the hotel and go and flag you and tell his customer the cabs are now doing fixed prices to the airport. It's a great scheme, and then you go, no, I don't want it. I wouldn't like that, but I'm not trying to run your business for you.
But that'd be just like the fares on the ranks we've spoken about it before.
It would.
And you're on Terminal 5 at 10 o'clock at night, and there's a poor guy who wants to go to the Hilton Terminal 5. And the front 15 cabs won't take him because they don't have to. And it don't suit them.
And how much does that job tell?
30.
30 quid.
Funnily enough, I took some people from the New York flight from Terminal 3 to the Hilton T5 yesterday. And they wanted it on the meter. And to be honest, from Terminal 3, it goes about 30 quid anyway.
Right.
Which is what I said to them.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, why is it fixed price? Can't we just have it on the meter? Because it's fair.
Yeah.
And it's just people from New York where you get the $70 into Manhattan,
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do think, oh, the cab driver cartel sets the meter and we're ripping everyone off. When you say, well, no, actually, it's TfL that tell us what we can charge. A lot of people chill out once they realise that.
I feel like I might have contradicted myself now with what I said earlier, but I also feel that from airports it's slightly different. But in town, whenever I'm in a cab anywhere in the world, I want them to put the meter on. They don't want to put the meter on.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, they do not want to put the meter on. And I've had it where we've been driving halfway through and they've switched the meter off halfway through. Why did you turn the meter off? He said, it doesn't matter, we'll do you a favour when we get there. I didn't need favours because I now know that there's no favour getting done here. And that was in Greece, by the way, your fellow countryman.
That's what happens when you get a new driver at the airport, though, and they take a weighbridge and they realise halfway to weighbridge it's only going to go 40 quid and they want to charge the out of the Met minimum. So, and then they get in a right tiz about it because they're like, oh, no, I didn't realise I could charge more, which once you left the rank, you can't. You've got to do what...
So what, you done it on the meter?
That's what you meant. Well, the way it works out there, obviously, is you've got the out of our licensed area minimum fare, which is recommended 80, which should probably be 90 with inflation now. Mm-hmm. But if you get a driver that doesn't know Heathrow very well, they stick the meter on, and then they realise that it's not a local and they can't come back, and they're only going to get about 40 quid for it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, weighbridge is probably a bit more than that.
Why don't we just sort that part out as well? Because it's a ridiculous idea. Why don't you just make it, you can come back? Why not make it within that? I know it's not our jurisdiction. It's outside of TfL's jurisdiction.
Where do you draw the line? I mean, we do have that with the Windsors and Slough.
You have the 1 hour return, don't you?
Ascots, but, you have 90 minutes. If it's Slough or Windsor, it's 90 minutes. Egham and bits and pieces around their Staines.
Why not be 90 minutes just across the board? Why do we need to designate places? It's a 90 minute.
90 minutes, on a good run, you could get to Reading and back.
So that's it. Make it 90 minutes. You can get there and back.
Then you do a fare to Reading, which on a meter now goes about 140 quid, and come back and pick up straight again.
So, bonus.
Well, yeah, bonus, but
no confusion though. Do you see? Basically, we have a really confusing system of when you employ it and when you don't. And if it's just 90 minutes, admittedly, there's one downfall, which is that drivers are going to come out there and drive like the clappers, aren't they, to sort of get there and back.
There's that, and you get people blagging they're going somewhere when they're going somewhere else. If you see what I mean. If you've got 90 minutes to return from town, you'd get drivers getting Knightsbridges and saying, "Oh no, it's only going to Chiswick or Hammersmith."
No, don't matter. It's 90 minutes. Then you can forget the Chiswick, can forget any
so
label.
You could go anywhere you like.
Anywhere you like. You can be back in 90 minutes. You can be back in the rank.
It's not very local, though, is it? I mean,
but again, what you define
it would suit me, but
what we just all they're defining is local is going outside of the TfL, what used to be the Metropolitan Police area. So you've got 90 minutes to do certain jobs. Just forget everything, forget every single detail, and make it an hour.
I think it should be 60 minutes.
It was an hour before.
Yeah. Well, it is.
The 90 minute
locals is 60 minutes, but if it's outside of the Met, some of them are 90 minutes, even though they're quicker to get back from.
So that sort of backs up what Dean's saying in a way, because then you've got because I don't work there regularly, and when I get a job at the rank and it's a certain place like Egerman, I don't know. I have to keep asking, right? Because I'm not studying this stuff.
There was at one point an induction you had to do,
of course,
and they got rid of it for some reason.
And
that was because, like you're saying, customers want to know what they're faced with when they get to the rank. The drivers don't even know how it works. I mean, the amount of drivers on the Telegram groups and WhatsApp groups I'm on, and they're like, "Oh, how long is it to come back from, I don't know, Brentford?"
Yeah,
it's always been 60 minutes. It's never been longer. And they go, "Oh, well, I'm going to be longer than 60 minutes." So, well, that's the risk you take. It's a shame.
Yeah, now you get the borderline things where I've had the borderline ones myself.
If it's taking you over 60 minutes to get there and back, as much as it sucks, you've probably taken 60, 70 quid on the fare, and you can't really say you've done a local journey if it's taking you over an hour to get back to the airport.
So we get into another realm then. You're driving for 45 minutes and you've got 45 minutes to return. How much did you earn on that 45-minute drive?
Well, so depends where you go.
Wherever you go. You put a meter on and you're driving for 45 minutes. What's it going to cost?
Well, it depends.
50 quid?
If you're going down the M4 and you're doing 70 mile an hour, quite a lot.
And everywhere from the airport is going to be quite a lot because they're all going to be fast roads getting to
Well,
somewhere.
not if you're going into town, going the other way. You're going into central London.
Once you hit the A4.
Slows down a bit again, doesn't it?
This is what's silly. I mean, you can go to Reading in 45 minutes, and if you do that on the meter, it's 130, 140 quid, whatever it is. If you go to Canary Wharf,
itself out in the end, though,
quid, and it's like, oh, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're the person that always says, "I'll just take whatever I get."
Yeah.
I never ever blag anyone or refuse a job. I'll take whatever I get from the airport. I don't try and cheat the system.
I have said that before.
Yeah, that is you. So I think if you do that in the same working in town, it all evens itself out.
Of course it does. Over a year, your turnover is going to be exactly the same.
So what
whether you're
Dean
being
said about the 90
trying to be clever or not
really does sound good, in my opinion.
You've got a complicated system replaced by just something straightforward.
Yeah.
And if you go and wonder, I think the argument is that you're going out of your jurisdiction, so there is no fares. So going 90 minutes into town, as soon as you dropped off, let's say it's Hammersmith, you dropped off at Hammersmith, you think, oh, the rank at the Hammersmith station, Broadway's moving, I'll pull on there. And then you're in town. Now you're working. So it doesn't work in that sense that when you go out 90 minutes in the other direction, or 45 minutes in the other direction.
Well, that's the argument for having the minimum fare, because you need so much to make. I mean, it's unfortunate because the customer don't like it.
Take away the minimum fare then.
Like
if you've only gone a little distance, which is fast roads, your M4, M25s and little drops that you can take around, then you're coming straight back, you're straight back on the rank and you're done again.
You'd have more cabs coming back, which would mean more cabs waiting in the feeder park.
Do you think you really would have that many more cabs? What about the fact that you wouldn't have more cabs coming back at the moment because people don't want to take the cab because I don't feel that I'm getting a fair price because I'm going to go to very nearby that a minicab will take me for less, but I've got to do a fixed fare with these guys because they're going to lose money if they don't do that job.
They don't have to. I mean, this is the other thing that I think is you can charge what you... Because, I mean, it says it in the back of the fare chart, which no cab drivers ever seem to read, but it's just a recommended price that we've come out with. You can charge what... If you want to go where I live, you can, which is just outside of the Met, I can say, oh, I want 90 quid to go there. Nothing to stop me doing it on the meter. There's nothing to stop me saying, oh, I want 200 quid. I mean, they're not going to pay it, but...
When you come into Heathrow on a plane, do you jump in a black cab?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't fly. I can't afford to fly from Heathrow. I spend too much time waiting at the feeder park.
Yeah.
I'll cut that,
Because I live near the airport, I know people near the airport, so I'll get a friend to pick me up. If I was stuck, I'd get a cab.
Which cab?
Well, Because I'm a cab driver.
Out of loyalty.
Because I'm a cab driver, I'd use a cab.
Right, now do it from a customer's point of view. Do you think you're getting the best value for money if you chose a black cab to get to where you lived in Denham?
We're not the best value for money for going out the Met. We do provide a good service. It's just not the most economical. So some people, I mean, I've had people go out to where I live in places like Amersham and stuff like that, and they're quite happy to pay it. And I say it's because they're not chasing a car around the car park looking for them. And it's convenient. They don't value their time much. They'll get a bus or they'll wait for their friend to pick them up. Some people are like, right, I've just flown home. I want to get home and see my kids before they go to bed. I'll pay for the privilege of walking straight on a rank, getting the first cab and going.
Yes, but again, you're getting away from it. We are a different product. That's fine. Yeah. We are a prime product. When people come in, they should be able to go anywhere and get back. So this idea of having other places has never really made sense to me. I know it's to do with being outside the Met, but get rid of that. Have it just...
I do.
Across the board, it seems so bloody easy to me.
It's not popular. I think there should be a whole new revamp out there because I don't think the 60-minute, 20-mile rule is fair because from Terminal 5 going to Oxford Street is probably pushing 20 mile now. So technically you can refuse half of London from there.
And they do.
And they do.
And they do.
And, you know, with traffic, I mean, if you can wait 4 hours for a job, you can take someone an hour and a half, you know. I mean, if you're that tired, go home. You're under no obligation to stay on the rank. Where I was going with that, I think there should... I don't know how you do it legally because we have the whole kind of whatever it's called. But if you just do a circle around Heathrow, everything within 10 mile is a local and you've got 60 minutes to come back, or 15 mile, call it 15 miles, 60 minutes, you can come back. Maybe a bit under that, but worry about that later. Then 25 mile or 30 mile, an hour and a half, you got to take it. Don't matter which direction it's going, don't matter whether it's going in your licence or outside of your licensing area. If you choose to rank Heathrow, you'd be expected to take people, do the job.
That doesn't make sense to me because it's very straightforward. Let's just let them go anywhere. You can't refuse the fare. You got to take the fare. Yep. And if you can be back within 90 minutes, you can get back on the rank. That's it. And now we don't have to worry about a distance. Oh, you're 10 miles, but it's 10.1, I'm afraid, and I've seen them do it. It's 10.1, you ain't a local. You've got to take it and love it.
If you're going on a 90-minute journey, do you really want to spend... I don't know, it's 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes. Do you really want to spend another 45 minutes travelling back to the airport? Because like you say, you could be getting that job to, I don't know, Liverpool Street, and you're straight on Liverpool Street rank.
Yeah, but that's an impossibility to get back, isn't it?
It's impossible to get back.
So
you're not going to make it. So you've got to make that decision. And 9 times out of 10, that decision is going to be, I'm not going to make it, so I'm not going to travel that way.
No, you live on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you live and die on it. So really and truly, it's a good idea because 90 minutes is it's
90 minutes is too long.
It's too long.
It's too big, 90 minutes.
It's time limit you can discuss. But having extra features, like it's actually 60 minutes and a 10-mile radius, 90 minutes and a 25-mile, that's where it gets complicated. You give me bloody 90 minutes, nobody can speed anymore. Like in the old days, we could belt it for 90 minutes and really try. But now you'd end up losing your licence.
I mean, if you do that, you will have drivers driving recklessly, and it won't look good on the
They'll lose their licence. Come on, there's enough speed cameras and everything else in town.
I mean, we're lucky that it's kind of we've still kept it as it is because I'm surprised no one said actually, you know, you're encouraging drivers to speed back to the airport.
Yeah. Dave, you're sitting there smug face. Well,
it reminds me of tippers in the 80s. We was paid by the load, and they made that illegal. They changed the law.
Oh, right.
They made it illegal, so you couldn't be paid by the load as a driver on the cards because they was all chasing up and down. It was.
Because they're driving fast.
Have you ever seen Sean Connery in a movie called Hell Drivers?
No.
It's tipper drivers. It's exactly how it was in the 80s. All chasing like lunatics. There was no cameras then, so you could drive what you wanted to do.
I remember the 80s of tipper trucks driving up and down the A13 as fast as anything.
And another point is, you said there earlier that we're a different service. Mm-hmm. Getting rid of the meter and becoming the same as the others. Are we not just becoming the same? Are we blurring?
Well, this is what I said at the beginning. I have literally no idea of doing this for any other thing but landing at an airport as big as Heathrow.
Hold on, you just said going to the airport as well.
Yes, it's only to and from the airport, literally.
It is for now.
So if that tourist lands at Heathrow and he pays, I don't know, 80 quid to get into Knightsbridge, I would expect that they would want to pay the same to go back to the airport. That is the only thing I would advocate fixed prices for. Nothing else.
You're never going to get a cab driver on the street get flagged down and be like, oh yeah, I'll do that for a fixed price.
No, not flagged down. I'm not saying flagged down. That can't work for a hail. I'm talking about from hotels.
Doesn't it already exist? I mean, the
Yes,
doormen have already got their drivers lined up. Do you want to do the job for 100 quid? Do you want to do the job?
Yes, but that's not right because that's closed shop again. We're
Well,
talking
yes,
about
it's closed
shop for them, and we're talking about closed shop for the airport, and that's where it is at the moment. And that's why people that are studying the knowledge are not getting a fair crack of the rib.
But you're never going to change the hotel situation because you're just going to, if they don't sell the work to us, they'll sell it to a minicab firm.
That's why they're called door ponces.
Well, yeah.
If the hotels paid them a decent rate of wage, they wouldn't have have to, they're relying on us to pay their wages.
Well, yeah.
It's madness.
That's the perk of being a door ponce.
Yeah.
That's why you do it.
If the job is the hotels, it's the hotels, isn't it? Isn't it their hotel, and they can give it to who they want?
I mean, I can't blame them for wanting a commission because they got a customer that says, "Oh, I want a cab at 6 a.m." The customer don't care if it's been flagged off a rank or whatever. They just want to know the cab's waiting outside.
No, sorry, David's point is actually quite good.
Yeah.
It's my hotel.
Yeah.
It's my hotel, and that's it. And the doorman is my hotel, representative of the hotel, and he's arranging for cabs for my customers. And the fact that he's getting paid in another way, we can call it a backhander.
And another thing,
Can we?
If they ask the concierge or doorman at 8 o'clock at night, can you have a cab here at 6 a.m, please? Is he going to take a chance that there's someone outside on that rank? Then sod's lorries, you'll be sitting there, wouldn't you, with your light on, and someone pulls round you and in front of you. And
Yeah.
But that doorman's got a responsibility to make sure that person gets to the airport, surely.
And he'll be getting paid for it. The customer will be giving him a tip for it as well. He'll get 20 quid off the driver, 20 quid off the customer, 40 quid for arranging a cab fare.
Well, the doorman's job is always sought after. But I don't know what a concierge is, Dave. Did you mean a concierge?
He just don't come out the door.
I just think that could be a more efficient service if the concierge knew exactly what. So the concierge wouldn't necessarily be able to do anything much with it. But what he would be able to tell his customer is, the customer would be asking, how much does it cost to get to Heathrow? And that concierge will be able to say 90 quid. The concierge will know exactly how much it costs. He wouldn't have to guess.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate. I think they already know. Because I think if they're going to ring someone up, and let's just play devil's advocate and say,
I know.
Their client is 120 quid, and they say to the driver, there's a job here in the morning for 100 quid. He already knows they know what they're charging. They need to put their whatever on, don't they? Their commission, let's call it that.
Do you rank on hotels much, Dave?
Not too much in the evenings, a bit, but not too much. When I was on the mornings, I would certainly go there.
Have you ever been sitting there for, 20 minutes while cabs come in front of you?
Of course, everyone sees it, But how does that doorman know that I was going to be there?
No, he doesn't. That's not what I'm saying.
I mean, so I can understand his point of view. He's got a job to do as well, and he could say, well, I could walk out here, there's no one here. What am I going to do then? Or do I book one and guarantee there's one here, and our client's very happy that a car...
That's not a taxi then, is it? A taxi is not a pre-booked service. We're getting into another
Of course we are. Of course we are pre-booked. Why can't you App's pre-book, isn't it?
App's pre-booked, but then you can use an app.
You're a taxi service on there.
I'm not talking about an app.
Oh, your Jump's not taxis.
It's not my Jump, but what I will say... it's not my Jump.
Yeah,
it's not my app.
app.
Yeah, I'm the manager. No, but that's an immediate hire. The Jump's an immediate hire. If you want a pre-book, you can use a pre-booking service.
You're saying Jump's an electronic howl, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I am.
Read the realms.
But look, that's another argument. We could do that another time. But what I'm saying is that, if they know what it's going to cost, the customer's more comfortable, and the customer pays our wages. You're saying a pre-book. What an airport job is going to cost, it becomes more comfortable to the tourist.
I'll put it to you, a lot of them hotel concierge, doorman, whatever you want to call it, they tell them.
Exactly.
They don't always, and the driver might have to, but they would tell them. And I bet it's a fixed fare, and there'd be a commission there for their doorman.
It's under the table. I'm talking about putting it on the table.
Why is it under the table?
Because they've got their, like you said earlier, they've got their drivers.
It belongs to the hotel. That's the hotel's client.
It's the hotel's client.
And they've asked the doorman to book them a cab.
But once they get in the cab, it's my client.
Yeah, but you've got the job, fire them. It's the same as an app. Do you not pay commissions?
I know, and that's right. And what I'm saying to you is the idea of having a fixed price makes people comfortable going to the airport in a black taxi.
I know you're saying cut out the doorman.
Yep.
We're talking about people coming
100%.
out of 5-star hotels, Paul. They're not worried if it's 100 or 100.
Some are. It's not just 5-star hotels. I'm talking about all hotels.
Yeah. But the ones that are calling us to go to the airport, they're mainly the big hotels. They're not like...
They are, but
you
I'm
ain't got someone in a Premier Inn.
Yeah, but I'm talking about opening it up to your Premier Inns and stuff, so they could have a notice on their counter saying black cabs to the airport are 90 quid. That's what I'm saying.
I think if you cut out the doorman, they'll start using the enemy.
They do use the enemy.
They will use them all the time. And you remember private ranks like the Tower, they just remove it. Why would them doormen lose commission? All them private ranks will go.
But if the customer knows they're getting a price to the airport, it's about the customer knowing, not about the concierge.
How would a customer
There's a lot
know?
more customers
Who's going to tell the customer?
Well, it's published as a fixed price. So I know about fixed prices in New York because it's famous for it.
Are you not worried that publishing our prices is going to scare people off, or it's going to encourage minicabs and Uber and all the rest of them to just be like, all right, cabs are advertising 100 quid to the airport, we'll come in at 80?
Yeah, but they know the difference. They know what they're getting, and they're getting an actual black cab for that price. You know, they always. There's no secret that they're cheaper than us. That's a normal thing.
But they're not always. That's the thing. I mean, I went in the Strand Continental the other day and had a look at how much it was at Terminal 5, and it was about 140 quid.
Set price? They've got a PHV terminal, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. So it's actually more money on that terminal to use them. And I'm saying we would be cost effective going both ways.
If we come in and say, with a terminal next to it, saying, oh, we're 100 quid, you'll just always have them at 80 quid, because then it becomes a race to the bottom. And then we'll have to be, maybe we're going to have to.
You get a car for the cheaper. You always get a car cheaper.
That's a good point. Race to the bottom. I like that.
Yeah,
it is a good point.
I think that's the problem.
Don't just use that slogan without giving me some context.
No, I think because you're going to go as you're going down. What you said there, we go 80, we go 70, we go. But
they do that anyway. They do that with every single job.
For every job we might gain because someone's confident they know what they're going to pay, we're probably going to lose a job because they're going to see, we can compare it on our little phone or whatever. We can get something cheaper.
But there's platforms that have us both on. I mean, people use us because they want cab instead of a car for mainly because of luggage and stuff. So a tourist can't get all their luggage in a little Prius, so they'll pay the extra to use us. But if they know exactly what they're paying when they land, because all you see is their adverts in the airport all the time. If you know what you're going to pay into central London as you're coming off the aeroplane, you've got all your luggage, you've got your kids, you've got your buggy, you've got this, that and the other. I can get a black cab for 75 quid. Sweet, I'm straight down there, I'm in. You're not thinking about anything else. You're not bartering with a driver. You're not worrying about cost. You're just straight into London. And I believe that will make the rank.
It is incredibly rare that someone comes up to the rank and kind of wants to get a quote into central London, believe it or not. And that surprises me because I'd want to know how much. But it's very rare I get someone come up to my cab and say, I'm going to Mayfair, I'm going to Kensington, or I'm going...
I know why that is. Because those people have got in a cheaper alternative most of the time.
They probably would.
They're terrified of the meter when they drop into
London.
London.
They could still come.
They're either getting on public transport, they're using the apps because they don't want to face the meter. If they know that they're getting a reasonably palatable price into London in a black cab, I'm telling you now, I'm very confident they will jump in a black cab. Because it's London. They've landed in London. They want to be in a black cab because they know it's safe and they know it's decent and they know it's iconic.
If they know that much, then they know we're not going to rip them off and the meter's a relatively fair principle. Yes. You say, like every other country has the opposite issue.
I think that, but lots of people don't. And
I mean, we could be better at quoting. I think that's where we could improve because a lot of drivers are terrified of saying, how much is it to Mayfair? I don't know. It'll be whatever the meter will be. We all know it's going to be between 90 and 110. You know,
and that's what my argument is. We know that, so why can't we actually have that option and say, right, it's 100 quid.
I mean, I think
100 quid to Knightsbridge.
Didn't we try that about 10 years ago? Weren't we all driving around? Or I wasn't, but a lot of drivers are driving around with those posters in the back going, it's 65 quid from Trafalgar Square to the airport. Yeah. Which always made me nervous because it was never going to be 65 quid from Trafalgar Square to the airport. It was always going to be.
But they want their booking to get to the airport so they can plug up and sit
but
there
what
for
I mean
2 hours,
is
3 hours,
we did try advertising how much it would cost. And I don't think
there was a lot of them ads.
I don't think there was. I didn't notice any uptake on the ranks.
I think the trouble there is you could be a race to the bottom. You could be doing it cheap, and if you work for nothing, you'll never be idle.
They're good slogans, but I'm not saying we're doing it for cheap. I'm not saying I don't use these slogans race to the bottom because I don't believe that we're racing to the bottom. I believe that we need to think more like a business sometimes rather than just blindly protecting the meter when we're not using it to our advantage. You know,
the slogan of "Race to the Bottom" is completely business minded. So you are thinking like a business when you use that. If you're going to,
but you've got to use it in the right context.
You are using it in the right context. Dave's context, Terry's context is once you start lowering prices, you compete on a lower price.
I'm not saying to lower. This is what I've never said. Lower the price. Since I've been sitting here, I've never said lower the price.
You will lower the price if you work by zones. And it's quite simple because traffic, you've only got to go half a mile across central London. It could take you ages, like where the roadworks and the road traffic is.
Yeah.
And I've done that through private eye 25 years ago, zones. And I know that it was just one street that the money went up. The zones were disappointing for a driver.
Do you honestly think it wouldn't work at all then? Do you think this is a terrible idea? Because I like to, I'm not saying it's perfect either.
I'm not saying things couldn't improve, because you can always look to improve, but I'm not sure that you go fixed fare out to the airport. I certainly, one who's at the moment is working evenings, I don't want to go to the airport when it's really busy in town, because I'd sooner have bums on seats constant, one in, one out, dropping off, picking up. I don't want to go out there. Maybe they've got the elevated section shut down. Maybe it's shut coming back. And it's killed my night.
It's what is it, an hour and a half, 2 hours there and back to the airport, isn't it? So if you
get where you're getting it from, yeah.
If you take £100, it's £50 an hour. In town on rate free, you probably can comfortably take 60s. I would say on a good, not every night, but obviously also, not on a Monday night.
If you own the cab like me, you're putting dead mileage on it. I don't want extra mileage. I want mileage as much as possible, short mileage.
But what I'm saying is the idea of this is not to have dead mileage. That's the complete opposite. The idea of it is to have a job out there and a job back and be quicker.
If I rock up at 11 at night, how long will I wait for a job at 11 at night? Yeah.
Either the morning or
last plane.
Right, so that's terrific.
Yeah, but it's one or the other.
So I've got to get my head down to get a job back. I ain't doing the fixed fare out there. I ain't doing it.
Call the wife up, say, sorry, love, I'm not coming home tonight. I'll be home on Wednesday.
But that's the thing. That's the thing about the airport. It's a risk. It's always a risk to go up there and work. You know, I'm actually saying that it could be a solution to get the part moving and get people in tags. A trial, something that can be investigated. I'm not saying it's a definite working thing that would work. That's not what I'm saying. I think we're missing the point.
Unless you get the whole trade behind it.
Yeah.
You're going to have a bad customer experience with it, because you're only going to have about...
Totally agree.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it in principle, as long as I didn't feel like I was losing, but I know the driver next to me would be upset if it was an 80 quid fixed fare and he knows the meter's going 100 quid. And he's then going to be a bit upset with the customers, because we do get drivers like that, unfortunately.
Can we get to the root of the problem here? Basically, you're saying that this idea, it's coming on the basis of trying to increase customers. That's it. If it doesn't increase customers, it achieves zero, doesn't it?
It's all about increasing turnover.
So if it doesn't increase the customers, it achieves zero. From the driver's perspective, I put my meter on, that's my wages. I know that's what I am worth per mile, per hour. Whereas fixed fare is not my wages. That's me undercutting myself in some degree, probably. You're not doing it for more. And definitely when it comes to traffic, I could be on a real loser. I mean, it could be a disaster loser, couldn't it? It could literally be the nightmare scenario where they close Blackwall Tunnel, Rotherhithe Tunnel and Tower Bridge and everything else, and it's all shut down. So I'm taking a risk on a fixed fare. So for the driver, there's not a massive benefit. There's only a benefit if there's an increase in fares. And can you do any more fares at the moment, Dave?
No, not really. But if the roads are all empty and the in-town's full of passengers going out there, and the airport has got no cabs and it's full of passengers coming in, you fixed fare, you can run backwards, forwards.
All day long.
That's not going to happen, is it?
What happens is everyone else does them but us. That's what happens. So even our own apps, apps that have black cabs on them, you do fixed fares. Drivers.
Everybody else does them but us. What your example is New York, and you mean every city in the world?
So all right, I'll add that to it. So other cities, all the other cities do it. Basically, most other cities do fixed fares to and from the airport.
Do you have one example? Do you have genuinely evidence of any other cities doing it? Which one?
Paris, New York, Amsterdam, Istanbul, Athens,
and
Barcelona.
What we say on that basis is, do you think that any of these markets are comparable to the London market?
They all have airports, and they all have people that land at airports that want to know what they're paying. That's the only comparison I can make, and that's why I think it's a little bit of a separate thing. But also, we have apps here, we have driver groups here, and we have drivers of their own volition that want to do fixed fares, and they do it whether we like it or not. So it is happening around us. What I'm saying is we should explore the avenues of making it a little bit more official.
Okay, so then you end up with a scenario which Dave hit on that is perfect. You end up with an elimination of fares. So you're doing it to increase fares, and you immediately, once the doorman realise that there's nothing in this for them, they change their marketplace, and now you just lost all of them. Now you take that for every major hotel in London, and even the smaller ones, that's a lot of fares just gone. So was it worth the experiment to make these fixed fares to end up with the loss of that market, to gain the fact that some backpacker flies into London and thinks, I've got to pay 30 quid on Paddington with my three mates, or we could get in a cab and pay 70, but we don't care about luxury because we live in bloody bamboo huts and swing on a hammock all the time.
Yeah, but that's twisting it a little bit, because all I'm saying to you is twisting it a lot. What I'm saying is, we don't cut out the hotels. The hotel just knows how much he's telling his customer it's going to be, rather than, I'm just going to get you a cab and it's going to be on the meter. The customer doesn't know what it is. The customer go, do you know what? Can you get me one of your own cars? That's the difference. That's all I'm saying. The difference.
If you are
so I don't think we would lose hotels. We'd gain more smaller hotels.
You would lose them. You are cutting the doorman out. He is losing. If he's losing part of his salary, that's part of his salary, whether you like it or not. That's their job. If you cut them out, what's to stop them saying that rank outside our hotel, we don't need it now? What's to stop them campaigning the council to get rid of us?
That's wrong, because at the moment, all them jobs from the hotels are fixed fares.
Well, not all. Some of them. Some circuits.
Most of them.
Aren't.
All right.
Fixed fares, sorry, Paul, fixed fares in what?
To go to and from the
In
airport.
what? In a cab or in a minicab?
In a cab.
In a cab. And the doorman got his
making it
share.
official.
You're going to take away his share, and he's not going to want that.
I don't know if I'm taking away his share or not. That's down to the airport. Like, it's down to the hotel to decide whether that share is going to be there.
At the moment, you're admitting that the hotels already have fixed fares, which
Yes.
gives a share to the doorman, which makes it function, because the
Yes.
doorman will get that cab to be there.
Yes.
But if we now make fixed fares mandatory across the board, we have a fixed fare that cuts out the doorman.
And the doorman don't call a minicab because the minicab ain't got enough money in it to give it to them. They ain't doing that. They've got to have their own cars outside. Black cabs, they know they can do it.
They can't cover it. They can't cover it. They need us for it.
We will lose, I think.
To be honest, I hate to agree with you, Paul, but on this, with the doorman argument, it's going to be the same set price, isn't it?
Yes.
And the same drivers are going to be paying the same bung.
Well, maybe.
So it's going to be the same.
Yeah, but at least they'll...
Isn't it?
Yeah, but he says he hates to agree
But
with
it
me.
ain't. But it ain't.
No, he was disagreeing with you, I think.
How about if they lower? How about if they lower the
that's
fixed
what I'm
price?
saying is, if say we've got a fixed price, we change the rules, and now all cabs are fixed price to 90 quid to the airport. The same hotels that have always been selling it for 90 quid to the airport with their drivers are still going to call those drivers, and those drivers are still going to give them a tip.
It won't be, because the fixed fare now includes £20, £10, whatever for the doorman. When you do them fixed fares, it won't include nothing for them. That will get removed.
Who said?
It will. Where are you going to put that legally a commission in there?
The doorman will still talk to his whoever to do whatever he wants, but everyone knows what the price is to and from. There's no meter
Well, I think they do now.
involved.
I think the doorman will say to the
Yeah, they
person
do, but they've got their own little group of drivers. This is what I'm saying. It's a closed shop.
It'll be
I want it to
underhand
open
anyway,
up to
'cause
everyone.
Those
That's what I'm
prices
saying.
won't hit those circuits anyway. I don't think. I mean, I don't really care. It's not something I get involved in, but
Nor me.
I don't think if we have a trade-wide thing that would end up on the tariff sheet of fixed prices to the airport, to and from the airport, whatever, the private hotels aren't going to go by that. They'll just treat it like a pre-booking. And they'll be like, right,
It'll be a
you
choice thing.
want a cab in the morning, it's
No,
100 quid, I'm going to get my 20 quid, and the driver's still getting about the same as the fixed price.
Like you said earlier, it's up to the hotel. It's their job. If they don't want to give it to a black cab, they won't anyway. If they do, they'll call up there. There's little circuits.
I've got to admit, Paul, I started off open-minded.
Yeah.
Dave I thought was mildly biased against it. But I don't see a single purpose to it other than causing a series of events, a series of chain of events that you are unforeseen. And Dave's observation about the doorman, I think, is a great one. You don't know what knock-on effect you are going to create from doing this that could upset the whole apple cart when already there's a system in place. And fair enough, we've all probably give a tenner to a doorman at some stage in our careers. So if you're not guilty of it, fine. If you're walking around trying to drive the holy cab, fine.
You take
Why is
tips.
No, not only that, David. Okay, you take your old lady to New York and you come out the hotel and the doorman holds the door open for you and you impress your wife by giving the doorman a little thingy. So
No,
that
I wouldn't do that.
Oh,
I'm not going to pay someone £10 to open the door for me.
But you just
It's
said
not what I do.
Pay your staff.
You
You
sure
pay
you're
your
Greek?
staff and then takes tips himself, encourages on jump people to
No, but
give
you're not letting me
tips.
finish. No, you're not letting me finish.
God forbid a doorman should get a
No,
tip.
Dave, that's not that's not how I'm. You're putting words into my mouth.
No, I'm not. You're doing
You
well
are.
on your own.
No, I've never ever gone out in my taxi for a tip. I don't ever expect a tip, but if someone wants to tip me, I say thank you.
Do you have it on the machine available for someone to tip you?
Of course, because
Well,
that's
then
the
that's
machine.
all the doorman's doing. The same thing. They're just taking a tip. It's a drink. It's the way you earn money. It's another thing. That's all.
Look, tipping culture is another argument. But what I'm saying is,
But you can't say
tipping
they've got to
culture is
pay them
different all over the
correctly and
world.
still take tips yourself then. Because
if
why ain't
someone's-
you being paid
if
correctly?
someone's offering me a tip,
No.
that's nice of them. I've dropped people off before who haven't tipped me for taking them on a journey and being nice or whatever I've done. If the doorman's opened the door and he's giving them £10, and I'm thinking,
I'm
what's
jealous.
that about? Not jealous. I
Well,
just
it's enough
tipping
because
culture.
it's enough.
They're there
Otherwise.
for the week though. That's how I make my peace with that.
Yeah,
They're never going to see you again. So they're giving the doorman money because in 2 days' time they're going to want something from him. That's how it works. It's different.
And
That's a fair argument.
He may have
That's
provided a
fair
good
argument.
service and your driving might have not been.
I might have not been. Yeah, of course. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I accept that. I completely accept that. But I just don't understand why we can't be transparent about fixed prices.
Our whole business model don't work on fixed prices, does it?
No, I'm not saying it does. I'm talking about from when landing at an airport. You land at an airport, you don't know where you are, you need a little bit of comfort. That's all I'm
Paul,
that's
there's no
the comfort.
transparency needed. This is basically a debate of whether there is a benefit or a con to doing fixed fares within London. And I think from today, there isn't really
It does say in a fare
benefit.
chart an estimated price. And it does say it on all the terminals, I think.
It's
It
an
says
estimate,
It will be between half an hour and an hour. It's somewhere between 60 and 120 quid. Which, I mean, it is...
That's a massive range, isn't
well,
it?
yeah, but
You
that's
know.
because London's a massive range. That's
It
obviously
is.
going from Hammersmith to Liverpool Street.
Yeah,
you know.
it is, and I think that the meter doesn't move that much once you get stuck in traffic.
We don't get much for waiting time at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't move. The meter doesn't move
I'm going to
loads.
stop you both there because basically I think there was enough in that. There was some. It got quite heated, I have to say. Probably the most. It got quite heated. I thought it was quite good. I thought it was excellent. It was a good debate, and I think we've covered every point that we can cover. Basically, we're trying to argue for or against it, and that's the whole idea within the trade. Is that if you have an idea, then at least put it out there and let it be debated.
That's all I've ever said. I've never been the one to say you know. I've never pushed it to an extent where we really should do this.
No, but we've debated it now.
I really wanted to
Paul.
debate it, and
We've debated it
So
now, and
that's
it's
great.
over. Yeah, so
yeah.
just move on,
No,
forget
I'll move
about
on.
it.
I do think that it's a dangerous thing with the doorman. You could end up Pandora's box. The more I listen to it, I'm thinking, this could go really wrong.
Yeah.
here.
With Free Now and Get, they often do fixed prices to the airport.
All of them is. Yeah.
Have we got any more? Is there, in that, can we see if there's any more turnover? Have we got any more jobs to the airport because they're fixed prices?
I think the good thing about that, when you say that, because if anyone who's on free now or whatever, they can just refuse it. They don't have to click on it.
Yeah. I mean,
See the
I
fixed-
think
see the fixed price go, no thanks.
my opinion, the reason they do the fixed prices isn't to get more customers to get taxis to the airport. It's because they know there's a lot of airport drivers that see getting an airport job as a holy grail, and they'll do it for cheaper than the meter because they just want to go back to the canteen, have fish and chips,
Yes.
go to the gym.
You're
have
talking
a
about
sleep.
black cabs here. You're not.
Yeah,
PHP.
yeah. So I'm talking about our apps.
Yeah.
Because we already have fixed prices to the airport through those means.
Yeah.
And if we're trying to say, oh, we're going to get more jobs because by having fixed prices,
But that-
well, that's the benchmark. Because
that's
if
the
we
whole
haven't
issue.
seen an increase because of those fixed prices, then it's
But
not
also,
gonna work,
that's
is it?
the thing I was trying to say. You can refuse it. That's like, for me, of a night, there comes a point, I mean, early evening, say like 7, 8 o'clock, it's a bit of a quiet thing where people have got wherever they want to get. Then maybe you consider running out to the airport or whatever. But when it's busy and it's one in, one out, I don't want to go. So sometimes you have to go and you go somewhere and you know it's a poxy drive back. Or
Do you know
whatever.
what? Right.
I
See,
go-
this is the thing. All I've ever said was we should have the debate, and we're good debate on it. And maybe it's the right place for fixed prices. Should stay on apps. They should just
Yeah.
stay on apps. You've got the choice of a fixed price.
But
I'm not
that's-
saying I'm.
And those drivers that wanted to go back, airport drivers, they can. And those drivers that don't, I haven't compelled to go somewhere I don't want to go.
Or Dave.
But I'll do it on a meter.
Or here's another idea, and shoot me down, which you probably will.
Oh, go on, I'm lined up.
Trial, like some kind of trial, like a few months trial, see if it works.
If you did this trial, but you'd have to do it on something like one app, maybe like yours on Jump, but one app, and I don't know, 50 drivers, whatever number, but that's it. So the rest of us are not compelled to do anything that we don't want to do off the meet, you know. Yeah, and then you can come back and say, these are the results. It increased by 1,000%. Then all the drivers at work go, listen, do you know what? That's the airport app. So people can do a fixed price on one app that does airports. Yeah. And people like me wouldn't even bother downloading it. So let's be honest, isn't it? And then you've got your customer.
It's like having a separate rank for fixed prices like you do at Wimbledon, right? You've got two different ranks where one's all locals, one's all going into London. So you won't go on that, you'd go on that.
The next problem would be me sitting there on the morning, like me as an example, and I've got my light on a rank, and who comes round me, as you've just said, he comes round me with his fixed for airport doing it cheap Charlie, and I go, well, I've fucking sat here an hour.
But again, you're saying about cheap and race to the bottom again, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm not racing
cheap
to the
Charlie
bottom.
Was thrown in on you there.
I'm not talking about cheap. That's what I've said about fixed price. I've never said they should be cheaper.
You will. As soon as you do, I say I was private eye 30 years ago. When you do zones, some of them will be, because so postcodes we used to do. So if you're on Southwest 1 goes to sort of like Sloane Street. So the Cadogan Hotel will be Southwest 1. So, and then West 1 will be just across the street, so you're going to get across over to say like maybe the Lanesborough might be West 1 and all that. So you can really do that really quick. You know, just the principle there of saying you could do that in just a few minutes and jump up price. But then the same person, a person behind you in the rank, he's not going to Lanesborough West 1, he's got to go across Charing Cross Road. There's a protest on. That's a nightmare. Now, he's on the same money for you to the Lanesborough. That's when you want to meet it, because you go, didn't you? It's traffic's murder. Why have I getting the same money? He's gone to the Mandarin Orient or the Lanesborough. I've got to go across the West End.
All right, there's an hour's worth to edit there. So, Paul, it's not often you're right and you're wrong again, but it's okay. I thank you for putting your point across.
No, listen, I enjoyed it.
Can I ask one last
question,
David?
Last
question. Nothing to do with the airport.
Oh.
I'm seeing lots of stuff, Paul. As you're the LEVC king and the fleet.
Oh, yes.
What's this about parts? People struggling to get parts and shock absorbers. I keep seeing that. What is that about?
Funny enough, I was thinking about this morning. So there isn't a parts shortage as far as I'm concerned. I've not had trouble getting parts. My problem is the cost of them.
But I'm seeing
too expensive.
You're seeing it as well. Lots of people saying they're struggling to get parts.
Yeah. I'm not struggling to get parts. I don't know why other people are. I'm seem to be getting parts, but maybe it's because I'm a fleet owner and I'm buying the parts. I don't know.
Get special.
Genuinely don't know.
So anyone who needs a part, they should contact you.
Yeah, ring me.
Shock absorbers are us.
But loads of copied parts.
Do them on fixed price. Fixed price parts.
Thank you, guys.
There's shortage on certain parts, but there's always been shortage on certain parts. There's always going to be back order on parts. That's just motor industry stuff.
I'll tell you what I did see one guy. I mean, I've only read it. He waited 6 weeks for a shock absorber.
Yeah, that can happen. It's just timing and shipping, and there's loads of reasons why
6
parts
weeks?
not in stock.
They're coming from China.
You can make one in a day. You can make some little workshop. They're not
back in the old days. Back in the old days.
Like I said, motor industry, there's back order on parts quite a lot. My problem is the cost of the parts.
All right. Well, we're on a brand new podcast today. We're going straight into the second podcast, are we? Listen, leave it there because it's too much meat to edit. Thank you. It's been a really good podcast. Thank you for coming, Terry. Right. Paul, thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
And David, brilliant observations there. I think you destroyed Paul there.